Someone asked me what was my inspiration for writing the Gideon Bible study. It really all began when I was just in my personal quiet time and I ran across that very familiar story of Gideon and the 300 standing against the enemy. And when I came to the story of Gideon, I realized that he was familiar enough to be intriguing, but still obscure enough that he was somewhat of a mystery. There was so much about his story that I didn't know, and I wanted to know more. And then, of course, that whole business of the underdog being victorious. I know how it feels to be insecure, to feel weak, to feel outnumbered, but God shows us through this story that He can take your little bit and make it a lot. That in our weakness, in my weakness, He demonstrates His perfect strength. That's a lesson I wanted to learn and share with others. The story of Gideon really seems like such a man's story, doesn't it? It's got all the elements that make it sound so manly and masculine, like torches and trumpets and enemy and war and battle and victory. But tucked underneath all of that, there is a story for me and you, for God's women. Because here's a guy who felt insecure. He felt outnumbered. He felt like what he had, the capabilities and resources he had, were not enough. I don't know any woman, starting with me, that hasn't felt that. When we look at our careers or our ministries or motherhood, marriage, singleness, oftentimes we feel like we are not equipped for the task at hand. There is a lesson for God's women to learn through the story of Gideon. Do you know what I've gained from the study of Gideon? I've gained a new appreciation for the more familiar stories of the Bible. Sometimes we come to a page of Scripture or a passage of Scripture or a biblical character that we've heard about before, and we think maybe we know everything there is to know about that person or what God did in his life. But studying Gideon has reminded me that the riches of Scripture are so deep and so profound that there is always more insight, not only for us to know, but then to have seared in our hearts so that we can live differently as a result of it. And my hope for you is that you will come away from this Bible study being completely transformed and changed internally and externally, but not only that, that you'll have a brand new appreciation for the Scriptures like you never have before. I have the privilege of writing Bible studies like this one on Gideon, really while I'm in the midst of everyday living. So while I'm trying to figure out what's for breakfast for the kids and what's for dinner and running errands and folding the laundry, literally in the midst of that, I am trying to study at my dining room table and write when I have a few moments. And as you can imagine, I'm sure, I often feel like I just don't have enough energy to do the project that is in front of me. I don't have enough time. I feel depleted of resources. Gideon's story was teaching me as I studied and is still teaching me now that our weakness, our depleted resources is exactly what we're being asked to submit to God. And when we do, He uses our weakness as a platform for the demonstration of His strength. And you know, not only that, but I got to tell you, over these months that I've been writing and studying, the enemy has gone out of his way to highlight my insecurities, to try to paralyze me with fear and intimidation. And Gideon is teaching me that I don't have to let the enemy have his way, and neither do you.